What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Geordie, and welcome back to F1 23 My Team career mode for the Spanish Grand Prix of Season 5. And if you missed last episode, it was the Monaco Grand Prix where we kept up our 100% record at the whole thing. It was amazing, absolutely incredible, and exactly what we needed after the absolute nightmare that was Imola. But yeah, we've moved past it. We're back onto winning ways. Team is really dominant, and it looks like George Russell is going to be our main title rival, but other drivers are actually starting to catch up. We know the McLarens, of course, they are really catching up at this point, to the point that Oscar Piastri 2-3, Yuki Tsunoda 3-4. That pairing is looking as strong as us now that they've brought their upgrades in. And of course, the only people between us are Verstappen and Leclerc, who are falling in recent episodes. And I think that's because they haven't actually brought in their big upgrades yet. Yes, they actually have. So McLaren are just on really, really good form right now. They are at max level. We are at max level, essentially. I think you could actually go higher than this in future seasons. I'm not sure. I don't want to do that, though, because... yeah, these cars are already a bit of a handful at this point in the series, and yeah, I dread to think what they could be like at Season 10, for example. But yeah, in terms of the constructors, we really don't have much to worry about. We are really far ahead. Me and George Russell have just been so consistent, and even when one driver has the mishap, the other one is picking up the win. So yeah, it's really been great, and we are just 1 point behind him in the constructors. So we go into the Spanish Grand Prix now. If we have a look at our record, last season we won fastest lap as well. The season before that we won again. Season before that we didn't do it. Season 1 we came in 7th with the fastest lap. So we have been consistently strong in the Spanish Grand Prix, so I'm actually quite confident going into this one. Of course, we'll have a look at our engine wear, our engine parts. We replaced the gearbox at Imola, or was it Monaco? I think we replaced it at Monaco. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, really shows how far we've come in the durability compartment, where we haven't even needed to replace these things yet, and we are already, what, like 8 rounds into the season? Crazy. But here we go. Let's go to the Spanish Grand Prix. I'm excited. Let's do it. It's round 8 of the Formula 1 World Championship. Alright, another full, perfect, sunny weekend in Formula 1. Lovely, great. No unpredictability at all, as usual. Qualifying has a 22% chance of rain, but it's just nothing, bro. We're in a rivalry with Max Verstappen now in terms of, you know, the rivalry system, whatever. Don't really care about it. I only really apply these now because it stops that engineer from talking about it for 5 races. God damn. But yeah, not really much to talk about. I'm feeling pretty confident. Let's just get right into qualifying. Actually, no, we need to check the R&D progress and see if anybody has made any upgrades. I actually cannot tell. I think, Ferrari have, and Aston Martin. So Aston Martin and Ferrari seem to have done some upgrades, whereas everybody else is pretty much stagnated for this one. Alpine, I'm pretty sure Alpine have now reached max level. They have not upgraded at all. Same with the bottom 4 teams. I'm not going to complain about that again. I seem to complain about it every episode. You know my feelings on it. And I mean, look at it. It's just obvious what I'm about to say. It needs work. But yeah, Alpine seem to have been maxed out as well. Aston Martin perhaps maybe have been maxed out. Maybe they've got a couple upgrades left in them. But yeah, other than that, pretty much everybody is almost max level. Mercedes is still yet to reach it, and Ferrari as well. But I guarantee they'll be doing it pretty soon within the next few races. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into Spanish qualifying for the final time in F1 23 My Team career. Alright, and here we are with our first laps of Spain in our final season of F1 23. And you might be able to tell, this is my first commentary recording coming back from the flu. If you didn't know already, I was ill with the flu for the last 2 weeks, which sucks because we've just hit a really big milestone on the channel. So this is the first time I'm going to acknowledge it, like recording wise, before I've even made the 1,000 subscribers video. But yeah, we hit 1,000 subscribers literally right after I caught the flu. And somehow, somewhere in the last couple of weeks, I've also gained about 20 more subscribers. I don't know how that's happened because I've only uploaded like once in those 2 weeks. But yeah, whatever. I'm clearly back. My voice isn't up to par just yet. I still have some leftover residue of the illness. So I'm not fully 100% just yet, but I'm well enough to actually be recording videos again. So yeah, that was really good. We just set a lap around Spain here, a 1:09.777, and we look to improve on that lap because clearly we could have made improvements, but Nick de Vries in the AlphaTauri gets in our way, and I tried to maintain as much speed as possible through that corner. But unfortunately, we just ended up in the gravel. So it was either slow down and not set a faster time, or end up in the gravel. Either way, it was a lose-lose, and Oscar Piastri ends up on pole position, and Max Verstappen starts ahead of us as well, with our teammate George Russell in P7. So we might actually not be the fastest car around this track. There's only one way to find that out for real.
Welcome along, everyone, to sunny Spain, specifically to the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. So many great moments in Formula One history have been written at this very track over the years, including Michael Schumacher's first win for Ferrari back in '96. That win was in the rain. We might have better weather here today, but we're just as overjoyed to be at the Spanish Grand Prix. It's an updated track at Catalunya, and we welcome the removal of the chicane in the final sector, shortening lap times and reducing the total running to 2.9 miles and 14 turns. This was actually the original setup for the track, but it hasn't been used since 2007. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Oscar Piastri lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have the owner driver, Leclerc, Perez, Russell, Sainz, Bottas, Gasly, Stroll, Ocon, Théo Pourchaire, Tsunoda, Drugovich, Norris, the owner driver, Albon, Magnussen, Sargent, Joe, Deruvala, and Nick de Vries. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. It's race day yet again, and joining me for a chat is Natalie Pinkham. Now, our racers are certainly in for a rough day today. What will you be watching for as they go down into turn 1?
There has been an exponential growth in the popularity of Formula One, and it is fantastic to see. This is the glue that's bonding families together. This is the talking point on a Sunday afternoon as they sit round and watch the race as a unit. I love the fact that people are starting to appreciate the various nuances of the sport, the fact there are so many layers to it. This is the cutting edge of technology, but there's also so much personality and sacrifice, personal sacrifice, that gets drivers and race teams where they are today.
Well, here we are, starting in P3. I'm not too worried, however. You know, we've had a really good season so far. It looks as though we're going to win both championships as well. Well, I don't know, actually, because George is pretty close to us in the normal driver's standings, although he is nowhere near us on the grid right now. He's starting pretty low down compared to us anyway. Still in the top 10, but it's going to take a while for him to fully catch up. I was messing around with the fuel. It won't matter as much anyway, as you'll find out later on, but yeah, let's get into the formation lap.
The formation lap gets underway then, and it's going to be interesting today to see how the dry conditions could affect the lifespan of the tyres. We're almost ready to start the race as the cars take their positions on the grid, with the drivers and teams making their final preparations.
Well, quite an interesting strategy from a couple of drivers on the grid. Our former teammate Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin and the Williams of Logan Sargent, both starting on the hard tyres as opposed to pretty much everybody else on the grid starting on the softs. Those two drivers don't really affect our race. Hopefully they don't anyway later on. But as of right now, yeah, they're just not in our race. We don't need to worry about that. Everybody else, however, is starting on the softs, so there shouldn't be any surprises as we go up to 5 red lights, and we are underway. It is a slow start from Max Verstappen as we jump right up into P2. Sergio Perez overtakes his teammate as well. He's getting our slipstream, looking to make an overtake round the outside, and Oscar Piastri defends into the first corner quite well. So we've gained a position, which is a good start from us. Max Verstappen has lost a couple of positions there, about 3 positions. He's fallen as low down as P5, so it's a pretty disastrous start for Verstappen there. But yeah, our season 1 champion, and of course I've won pretty much every other championship since then. Hopefully our driver career in F1 24 will be a lot more of a slow burner in terms of winning the championships, but yeah, again, we're concentrating on this right now, and we just got stuck on the curb. It's a pretty messy first lap as Oscar Piastri stretches out his lead, and yeah, luckily we were pretty close to the corner enough to defend against Checo. Well, we didn't even have to defend it. We were just too close to the corner for him to be able to make a proper move, and yeah, we've just about managed to keep P2, but we cannot make mistakes like that one, because now Oscar Piastri seems to be on a roll. That McLaren is clearly the fastest car on the grid, to the point that we actually don't get to catch up to Oscar until lap 5, and we're still struggling here. But here we go, we're going to throw in the dummy here, and he definitely takes the bait as he heads to the right to defend, and we switch it over to the left. We get the overtake done, and we have gained P1, but Oscar is going to find it very easy to keep up with us, and we are the 2 fastest drivers on the grid by far, about 2.4 seconds ahead of the rest of the grid. So it's literally just a one-on-one battle between me and Piastri, and anyone else who wants to catch up will have to rely on pit strategy. But yeah, we're going to go back, and we're going to be going back and forth with the McLaren here as Oscar Piastri makes the overtake on us here, and he is able to get right back into P1 on lap 7. So it looks like we're just going to be yo-yoing positions here with the Aussie as we look to see who is the quickest round the Spanish GP. But yeah, so far it looks to be Oscar, and we've got some tyre wear kicking in already here on lap 7, but we are managing just about to keep up with him. But honestly, if it was not for the DRS, we just wouldn't be able to keep up with him at all, and we're just about going to be able to make it to him here. We're going to dive down the inside here, really big slowdown. That might have cost us both about a second. Yes, it has, as the 2 Red Bulls pretty much sticking together. They're not fighting. I think they're going to be helping each other get back up to the top 2 here, and Oscar Piastri getting really close to our rear end there as we look to defend our position. But yeah, once again, checking the tyre wear, 32% on the front tyres now, so these softs have definitely all but gone off. So and ours will be going off a lot quicker. You know my driving style, I'm pretty much just hot lapping the entire race, which, you know, puts us into some issues on certain tracks when it comes to tyre wear and fuel, and it looks as though we are running into some tyre wear issues right now. Not enough to be struggling against Oscar, but enough to be you know, having to defend against him for sure. as we now prep to defend against him once again as we go on to lap 10. I'm weaving just a little bit here as Oscar looks to take the right side, going down the inside here. And we're looking to retake our position around the outside, but Piastri defends that really, really well. And he is able to overtake us and complete the move pretty much. And there's yellow flags behind us as we move throughout the lap here. We're still struggling to keep up with Piastri now. So yes, we are struggling now with this tyre wear. And we should probably check the replay to see what happened. It's one of the Ferraris, and it looks to be the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, who was completely spun out. So that might be his race finished, unless he pits pretty early. But yeah, those are the dangers of the tyre wear shown in plain view right there. So Carlos Sainz, another person struggling with his tyre wear there. But yeah, as we move on to now lap 11, which is basically our pit lap, to our dismay, Oscar Piastri's pit lap is the exact same as ours. So the work pretty much continues. We are not going to be able to perform an undercut or anything like that. Our teammate George Russell is in P6, pretty much a net P6 anyway, as everybody is, as a few people are making their pit stop. So it's not bad. But he is challenging us for the championship clearly this season, so it is bad for him right now. But for the team, not too bad, and you know, definitely makes us feel a bit more safe in the drivers' standings. But yeah, coming out of the pits in P9, we still have the fastest lap, but there seems to be some big gaps among the field here, between the Alpines and the Hasses, for example. And you know, good luck for us. Oscar Piastri was getting a little stuck behind Pierre Gasly, so we've actually managed to catch up to him a bit more here. And using this DRS, well, Oscar's got no one in front of him, so I think he does have DRS, but or maybe not, I don't know. Either way, he is now struggling to keep in front of us as we now catch up to him on lap 14. Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen pretty much next to each other. Perez went out a bit longer as we make the move now down the inside of Oscar Piastri. Charles Leclerc having a pretty good race as well. He has ended up in front of Verstappen. No, Verstappen has managed to keep the lead. Verstappen's actually on the hards. So he might be really dangerous towards the end of the race. We've still got quite a few laps to go as Piastri now looking to make the move down the inside. We're going to squeeze him out here so he has as little room as possible, and we actually managed to retain our position. Oscar getting a little too close for comfort right there, as he attempted to stay as much on the racing line as possible, and that's actually gained us about 6/10 right there. But you might notice that we've actually started to ease off the throttle a bit early, and that's because we are dealing with fuel issues. So yeah, that's basically what I was on about in terms of you know, my driving style not exactly being the greatest, but it's the only one I really trust, to be quite honest, especially against the AI here, as Oscar Piastri once again makes the move. But you might want to keep an eye on that leaderboard, as Max Verstappen is getting quite close to us. We've made the move down the inside to just about keep our P1, so Piastri has not managed to complete the move, but he is still on us right here as he looks to go around the outside. He's overshot it just a little bit, so now we are side by side here. It's really, really close battling between me and the McLaren of Oscar Piastri here, and all this battling has actually allowed the Red Bull of Max Verstappen to catch up to us. He is really not far behind now. He's just about joining the battle. And so, yeah, we're definitely going to struggle quite a bit here as we look to defend once again against Oscar Piastri. He once again looks to go around the outside. Verstappen is right with us now. So Verstappen is going to get into the move as we go onto the main straight, and we might be in a bit of trouble. Luckily, though, we've done well in saving our ERS, so we have a lot to use down this main straight. That's exactly what we're going to want to do here. And look at this, weaving around the track here, trying to keep out of everybody's slipstream. And now Verstappen's not going to be able to make any move as we've placed our car brilliantly in front of him, with Oscar Piastri sandwiching him in as well. And now Piastri has got to contend with Verstappen. And eventually, as we move on to lap 20, Max Verstappen is actually going to be able to make the move here, as those two were battling quite a bit there, and Oscar Piastri definitely going to be struggling quite a bit as well. Sergio Perez is on some really fresh mediums, so yeah, moving on to the final lap, Piastri has lost out to Perez as well, so that's not good for him as we look to bob and weave down the main straight. Max Verstappen looking very quick there, but we've made it to the corner before he could make any proper moves. But yes, this is it, the final lap, and we are now defending against the Red Bull of Max Verstappen, who will definitely be on the better tyre compound at this point, and we are as we struggle on these worn mediums, but we might just have enough left in the tank to be able to keep P1 and take the win here in the Spanish GP. Max Verstappen just keeping up with us here. Oscar Piastri, wow, he's lost a lot of time to Sergio Perez, so it looks like him and Leclerc are battling quite a bit here, as Verstappen now just cannot make the move, or maybe he will be. He's looking to make a move down the inside, very close to our rear wing there. But we managed to just about stay ahead, but we still have another DRS move. Of course, it could end up being a photo finish as we ERS down the main straight, but we've made it across the line, and this is when the game crashed, so it actually didn't count, unfortunately, and I had to do the whole race again. So yeah, some big changes in the race there as we do manage to take the win. Verstappen gets the P2, but Carlos Sainz P3. He didn't spin out in this redo. So yeah, very unfortunate right there. And I think George Russell also got a higher position, but not high enough to be a real change in the standings.
What a special race it was. So Natalie, what do you think helped them deliver this result?
Well, they managed their tyres to absolute perfection. A tyre whisperer, in fact. And that is what set them apart.
A show-stopping performance from the three drivers approaching the podium right now. It's been an interesting Grand Prix, that's for sure.
Well, there you go, a phantom race in Spain. The race you just saw basically didn't matter in some instances. Of course, the top two has stayed pretty much the same, but as you can see, this podium looks drastically different to what it would have been. Carlos Sainz, who was pretty much out of the race after spinning out, has managed to get a podium with this redo. Yeah, I don't really run into issues with F1 23 very often. This has been a fairly polished game, in my opinion. I know a lot of people on Reddit and, you know, in the YouTube comments as well, say that F1 23 is so broken and all that. But no, this has actually been a really good game this year. I've actually really enjoyed it, and I haven't even like experienced it to the fullest. I still have not played Breaking Point 2, so I'll get round to that at some point. I don't think I'll do that on the channel, but it's something I'll definitely get round to doing. But there you go, we have just reached over 300 points in the constructors standings. We are 17 points ahead of George Russell. So yeah, if results stay like this, it might be looking a bit comfortable for us. But yeah, it's good to be back. My voice still isn't the greatest, and I'm still yet to do a 1,000 subscriber video, but I'll get round to that probably today after I've finished editing this one. So yeah, and we've got to go full steam ahead on this game now. We've got just under 2 months, I think, before the next game. I think the next game's coming out in May, but like late May. So just under 2 months to finish this game, to finish this season. And I'm excited. You know, this season's been pretty good so far, and the game's been really enjoyable, but I'm excited to get it finished and move on. But yeah, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for 1,000 subs, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!